Good morning, everybody, and a happy Monday morning to you. Guys, I think everything we've heard lately about Harry and Meghan and the possibility of a reconciliation and they're returning to the UK and the security and all the drama, we need a little bit of a royal detox because while Harry and Meghan continue to dominate the headlines, the royal family has been quietly getting on with the job. Engagements are going on, charities are being supported, communities being recognized, and some genuinely wonderful royal stories have happened that deserve attention. So we are going to cover something about Harry and Meghan at the end. I'm going to show you a compilation of before Meghan and after Meghan. It literally is going to make you cry when you put it all together. So let's just start with some old-fashioned royal family news. And frankly, I think we all need it. So let's just jump in. Let's get busy. Let's go. So we're going to start with Queen Camilla. This came out actually on the 19th. She spoke about how she struggled to keep King Charles's cancer diagnosis a secret while she was on a visit to a cancer support center, which took place days before the news was officially disclosed. She said it was so difficult not to mention her husband's diagnosis during a visit to a cancer support center run by the charity Maggie's in 2024. Now, her comments were made in a short film that was released Wednesday to mark the charity's 30th anniversary. Remember, this happened the same time that Catherine was diagnosed with cancer. Anyway, here's a little bit of the short film that was made. And I want to tell you what she said. She sat down and she said, I can remember coming to see Maggie's just after the king was diagnosed. Nobody could say anything at that time. It was very difficult. I almost told people, but it felt like it wasn't the time to say. And I looked at everybody who was suffering and all the relations. And I think it made me realize even more how important these places were. And this conversation took place with Dame Laura Lee, who's the CEO of Maggie's Cancer Support Center. We know the king was diagnosed with an undisclosed type of cancer in early 2024, but the news wasn't announced for almost a week. Now, on a personal note, let me just say that I felt her admission was very emotional because can you imagine having to keep something like that to yourself while your husband has just been diagnosed and here you are visiting a cancer charity? I so admire Camilla for staying strong during that difficult time because in the end, she gets to take care of her husband. You know what I mean? You guys call him the king, but he's still just Camilla's husband. That visit that she's talking about was the newly opened Maggie's Center at the Royal Free Hospital in London on January 31st of 2024. But Charles's official diagnosis was announced on February 5th. Camilla, who is president of Maggie's, described how her poor husband had persevered with his royal duties despite the diagnosis. Nothing stopped him, she said. He just said, this is my way and I'm going to cope with it. The diagnosis also gave the Queen a fresh perspective on the work at Maggie's. She said, quote, it never really came back to roost at home. And suddenly your husband is diagnosed and you think, goodness, I've been talking to all these people and now I'm the one with some relation who's got to help to look after my poor husband and try to understand it all. Now, since the diagnosis, Charles has been open about his health battles more than any other monarch in modern memory. The Queen added that she felt a deeper connection with the families at Maggie's shortly before the diagnosis was made public. She said, I was almost questioning them. I didn't want to pry too deeply, but normally when I go in, I'm talking to them. I don't know. I felt it was so much deeper. I looked at everybody who was suffering. Everybody. Wow. Good for her. I'm glad she was able to hold it together. All right, let's continue on, but we're sticking with Camilla. All right, so just a few hours after this, Queen Camilla interrupted her summer break to attend the opening day of the Ebor Festival at York Racecourse, undeterred by wet weather as she arrived sheltering beneath a transparent umbrella. She is the patron of the racecourse, and she appeared to be in good spirits despite the gloomy conditions. She greeted St. John's ambulance volunteers, jockey Joe Fanning, racecourse staff, and representatives from local charitable organizations. The Queen was also due to hand over the trophy to the winning owner of the day's marquee race, the Juddmonte International Stakes. Now, King Charles did not go with her. He stayed in Scotland. I showed you the other day, they had the formal welcome ceremony held at the Balmoral Castle on Tuesday. People also noted Camilla's diamond and sapphire butterfly brooch carrying notable royal provenance. That piece was given to late Queen Elizabeth during the Birmingham Spring Fair in February of 1977, and Camilla wore it for her 79th birthday portrait, which was released in July of this year. A big thank you to Remoulade Sauce and to Carol M, as usual, for showing us all the outfits that Camilla was wearing for both of these outings. Let us continue. All right, now we know that William and Catherine are taking time off from official engagements to spend the summer with their children. And while they haven't been seen in public, they continue to use their social media channels to shine a spotlight on key organizations and campaigns. Well, over the weekend, Prince William shared, that personal message thanking firefighters. I showed that to you the other day. Well, a couple days ago, the Princess of Wales went to Instagram to praise the work of young photographers she met at Wimbledon in July. She put a message up celebrating the brilliant work of Shine Camera Club at World Photography Day, following a lovely meeting with young photographers at Wimbledon. Now, the Princess of Wales met children from the Shine Camera Club, which is a creative photography program based within the charity Shine Merton, which supports children from disadvantaged backgrounds to develop confidence, creativity, and self-expression through photography. And that was during her first visit to Wimbledon Championships in 2026. Now, the Camera Club was founded in 2021 by a photographer and community activist, Cindy Sasha, to ensure that children, many of whom face significant barriers to cultural participation, could access high-quality photography education free of charge. And in 2025, Shine Camera Club took part in a learning program during the championships, and students created a portrait series celebrating community trailblazers, which was later exhibited at the Wimbledon qualifiers. Fabulous. Moving on August 18th, Zara and Mike Tyndall and Peter and Harriet Phillips officially arrived at Balmoral for their summer break. It was the same day that King Charles attended the formal arrival ceremony at Balmoral, where he was welcomed by the Guard of Honor. It's being reported that both couples, along with Mia 12, Lena 8, and Lucas 5, and Savannah 15, and the other daughter who's 13, they were all together watching from the castle grounds. And what about Princess Anne? It's being reported she has embraced her new role as a step-grandmother with open arms, welcoming Harriet's 13-year-old daughter, Georgina, after the two of them, were married. Apparently, Princess Anne quickly made Georgina feel right at home within the wider family at Gatecombe Park, and she's known as a dedicated and doting grandmother. And so, she's warm and down to earth, and having navigated her own divorce and family evolution, she's very nice and is delighted in seeing her son find happiness in his second marriage and wants to make everybody feel happy. Good for her. All right, next up, this was interesting. Jessica Maroney, the former best friend of Meghan Markle, has launched a new women's-focused private members club called the House of Her. She announced that membership requests are open, framing the project as a space for women that are reinventing themselves. So it's women focused on personal growth and community. I wonder if she's basing it on like Soho House, you know what I mean? All right, moving on. Scotty's Little Soldiers released a clip that had a lot to do with Harry's attendance at their summer festival in July. Watch this.
I just had a water balloon thrown in my head after being pelted 3 times in my stomach, and I really enjoyed it. We went from goat yoga to an assault course to numerous other different things. Scotty's always put on the best events, and I haven't seen a single kid that's not smiling.
I swear there's something about the sound of his voice. It's like nails going down a chalkboard. All right, moving on. Meghan's as ever. She put this picture up. It took me a minute to figure out that's a yoga mat and a water bottle. Oh, she starts her day with a peppermint tea before yoga. I thought she was busy in the mornings, getting the kids up, packing their lunches, taking them for school runs, business meetings. I think she just got caught in another lie. Don't forget when she was on the Lima podcast show in 2025, she says, I get up at 6:30, and she described the process of getting her kids ready. She gets them dressed downstairs, make breakfast, get their lunch boxes done right before. I love doing, lunch boxes. Her daily commitments dictate when she handles school drop off or relies on assistance, blah, 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 blah. Nothing like what she said before. Now, she also put up this description: an evening well spent begins with a familiar scent, trying to sell one of her candles. Let me tell you what I see when I see this. I see a wet floor, a glass table, and disaster looming. That is like the worst picture. And this shows you she's not putting any effort into it. She put the table there, she lit the candle, she took a picture, and she was done. No safety, conscious at all. Now, I wanted to touch on this article. Apparently, before Harry and Meghan's wedding, William sought assurances from the Queen that Meghan would not wear Princess Diana's jewelry. And the jewelry became part of Harry and Meghan's story from the beginning, because he designed her engagement ring with 2 diamonds from Diana's collection to make sure Diana was with them. Meghan later wore Queen Mary's diamond bandeau tiara for the wedding. She wore Diana's aquamarine, ring at the Frogmore House reception. She's worn Diana's diamond tennis bracelet. So for William, apparently there's a lot of concern over Diana's legacy and Meghan wearing these pieces. Wow, I wonder what the Queen said about all that. I had to touch on this. Apparently they're claiming that Meghan is a heavily sought after guest for podcasts, but she's declining the opportunities, and she's afraid to go on other people's shows because she'll actually be asked tough questions in a long form setting, and she's too self-controlled to enjoy the looser feel of podcasting, because everything she says and does is so manicured and rehearsed, nobody would ever look to her for authentic moments, and in podcasting, that's a death sentence. All right, next up, I showed you the video the other day about Earl Spencer writing that book. And one of my subscribers put this comment up, and it really caught my attention, thinking maybe he's writing the book. Netflix might purchase the film rights, and then, you can read it for yourself. I think that's may not be far off. And finally, before we get to the big stuff, I had to take this old article. It was just a few days ago. They're saying that Harry wanted Meghan to stand by him at the Well Child Awards to demonstrate a joint return and reception, but Meghan was hesitant to make the trip following past tensions and safety concerns. And there's a lot of discussion around accommodations because, again, the king had offered Buckingham Palace. Obviously, this is before we heard that they were leaving California. And now I'm going to do my Harry before and after. I believe I did one of these for you about 3 or 4 years ago. But what you're going to see here is Harry before he met Meghan Markle, and then Harry after he met Meghan Markle. Ooh, is this kind of tough to watch? Here we go. think these stories today are a reminder of something that can get lost in all the Harry and Meghan headlines, and that's that the royal family never stops. So while Harry and Meghan left Britain and spent years living life away from the monarchy, the royals continued. And now, when you look at the man who left Britain believing a different life would make him happier, and you look at the one who's coming back, and in the meantime, the institution they walked away from is still there, the work is still being done. I think the most interesting part of Harry and Meghan's return isn't that they're coming back, it's what they're coming back to. And when I look at these pictures of what Harry was compared to what he is now, it really makes me sad. So go ahead and put those comments down. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Then go down into the description box where you'll find the link to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, a link to my father's book, which remains up for sale on Amazon, a link to my Amazon wish list, as well as a physical address. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.